So last two sessions, I'll start the session for today. It's 11:05. People will join gradually, but I will start for the day. In the last two sessions, we saw both Archit and Jerry sir give us insights on technical analysis. We have started with two major concepts, the foundational concept, that is trend, very well explained by Archit in the first session in great detail. We learned about the moving averages as well to a good extent, and we will be discussing moving averages in further detail when we come to the indicators session, which will be taken by Jerry sir and Archit both. In the next session that we will have on the next weekend, we will continue with technical analysis. Today, the idea is to give you a perspective of stock market trading psychology. As I said at the start of today's session with the 7-8 people who had joined, that आज के टॉपिक में आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू बी टीचिंग यू एनीथिंग. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं डिस्कस होने वाला है जो आपने पहले नहीं सुना है या जो आपको चीजें नहीं पता है. These are things that you are very well aware of, and many of you would be able to relate, most likely. So if you have joined today's session to learn something new, I think in the course of the discussion, there'll be some new things that you will pick up. But my idea of today's session is to give you a perspective of uh, from my lens, because I've been a broker since 2018 now. So before I start, I would love to give a brief introduction about myself. For those of you who don't know or who are joining for the first time, my name is Darshan Mehta. I am the co-founder of Spera Securities along with Archit Tauri, who goes by the name Curious Investor on Twitter, as you all are very well aware of. DM Finance is my community where you must be following me. If you're not following, maybe I will drop the link of the group in our TUSSM, TUSMM group. So you guys can follow me on DM Finance community on WhatsApp. Gagan just asked me to share my Twitter handle. I am not much active on Twitter, to be honest, due to compliance reasons. And but you, whoever wants to follow me on Twitter, my handle goes by the name DM Finance 007. So I've been a broker since 2018, but I started my journey in the stock market started way back in 2013. That is my first year of CA articleship. So CA foundation and CA interclear हुआ, and I started my CA articleship with a firm in Mumbai, which used to specialize in taxation majorly and also audits, but it was well known for taxation majorly. And as most of us start in the markets, it starts with your peers. Today's the Friendships Day. So of course, I would have not been in the markets had I not had my initial set of friends who were interested in the markets, because I don't come from the markets background like how Archit does, right? He comes from a family which has been in the markets for over 30, 35, 40 years now. My father used to invest way back in 1990s. Then he joined my grandfather in his business. And ever since, businessmen, I think till COVID, many businessmen were not that actively involved in the markets. So even my father, although he started way back in 1990s, some of the shares that he still holds. And but I don't have a background of equity. So my journey started very similar to maybe any of the way it must have started for you guys. Friends, early, teenage, not having much money in your pockets, wanting to make money from the markets. So that's how you start. That's how any retail trader generally starts his journey. Of course, some start later on in life, but I was fortunate to have started early. So for the first 5 years of my life, 2013 to 2018, till Spera Securities was born, I have been a retail trader. So I understand the pain points of most of you. I have done all the mistakes that you guys have done or must be doing or are going to do in the near future, because see, mistakes are a part of life. It is somewhere that mistakes end when you die. So mistakes are a part of life. You're going to make some mistakes every day in some or the other form till you breathe your last. So mistakes are going to remain. The only thing is what we pick up from those mistakes and how we implement the learnings. So first 5 years of my life, I've been a retail trader and a retail investor with a very small capital. Of course, ये articleship में back in my days, I think my third year stipend was what, 10,000 rupees per month. So you don't make too much, you don't save too much. But I think it's a good habit that I cultivated. So I didn't spend much. I tried to, invest. And as the earnings scale up, those habits that you form in your primitive years, initial years, that really help you. So all those who are starting fresh, I have only one statement for you. Start with a capital which you can afford to lose, and don't be afraid of making mistakes, because without making mistakes you don't learn. And as I said, today I'm not going to be talking anything different which you've not.
क्या बात है?
Yeah, let me just quickly mute a few of you so that there's no disturbance. If you have any queries which are urgent or important, only then I would request you to unmute yourself. We will be reserving the last 15 minutes for Q&A. So, coming back to the topic, 2018 say my journey as a broker, stock broker began with Angel One, and I think now they've started giving this disclaimer that 9 out of 10 people lose money in the markets, which is honestly quite true given the sample, the data, right? Still, we live in an age where people are trading on tips, on Telegram calls, all of that without having the knowledge. So I think that that number will always be slightly higher from an India perspective, and over the years it will slowly diminish. But the data, 9 out of 10 people lose money in the markets. It's a data, it's a fact. It is not a overstatement. It is not a marketing gimmick. The regulator recently has tried to strengthen the structure of the markets, because it is the sad truth that 9 out of 10 people actually trading in FNO lose money. Is it that all 9 of them are not well versed with technical analysis, fundamental analysis, strategies? I would not believe that. At least 30% would be, well educated, uh, given the fact that, capital required for trading in futures and options, especially futures, is higher. Uh, Given that the financial literacy, that is the awareness, the social media revolution, I think the number 90% or 9 out of 10, actually, the number is 97% if you go by the statistics. But let's say 9 out of 10 people lose money in the markets and trading in derivatives. That number is quite high, right? Is it that they don't know technical analysis, or they don't know fundamental analysis, or they are not educated about the markets? That is why they are losing money. Because even luck plays a factor, right? मतलब कोई भी आप ट्रेड एंटर करोगे, देयर इज ओनली टू आउटकम्स, या तो नफा होगा या तो नुकसान होगा. 50-50 प्रोबेबिलिटी तो है. तो व्हाई द नंबर इज 90%? So there are only two reasons for the same. One is, of course, the knowledge. we don't invest our time more importantly, because now the resources, the free resources are such largely available. You go on YouTube, you search, you'll get n number of n number of things which will be for free to learn. We don't invest, we are not willing to invest time to learn. That is one major drawback. uh, the other reason is psychology. I think the greater reason is psychology. So in today's session we are going to be discussing about the stock market trading psychology. So the first slide, coming to the topic, I will start with the session. Yeah, just the reference about the broker was because I have seen many of my clients lose capital, especially trading in derivatives. So it's a data, it is not an overstatement. ये चीज आप आपके माइंड में रजिस्टर कर लो कि ये डेटा है. So when we are starting our journey in trading, we know that the odds of success are only 10%. The odds of failure are 90%, though the probability is 50-50, because there are only two possible outcomes. One is a profit, the other is loss. These two are the ultimate reality of the stock market. If you are going to get fearful by the fact that you are losing money, there is there is there is a need to upgrade uh, the trading psychology, because ये दो कांस्टेंट है, ये चेंज नहीं होने वाले. या तो आपको प्रॉफिट होगा या तो आपको लॉस होगा. We cannot fear losses because it's a part of the game, it's part of the business that we are trying to build here. Now again, the word business, only and only if we look at the stock markets as a business, the odds of succeeding rises. Because if we are going to keep speculating, we know the data, 90% are losing money. So with that brief, let's start with today's session. Master your mind, master the markets. I will be sharing the handout after the session is concluded. So stick with me till the end. 12:15 is our cutoff. Next 1 hour, we will be discussing theoretical aspects. And along with that, we will be having a discussion around the same. So most of us in the last two sessions, we started with technical analysis. I think the participation was much higher there, right? So most of us are actually searching for the perfect strategy, the holy grail of indicators, setups, systems, to succeed in the stock market. Everybody is chasing technical analysis, fundamental analysis. So when I say knowledge, it is a very important foundation, without which I think there is no success ka chance in a long term on a consistent basis. If you want to be successful as a stock market trader, investor over a period of time, it's a non-negotiable. You have to invest your time in upgrading your skills, knowledge pertaining to the stock market, especially fundamental analysis, technical analysis, without which वो 90% 100% आप समझ के चलना. Without that, it's you will have to. I'm not saying that you have to become an expert. You have to become a chartered accountant or a CFA. You have to do some professional degree. It's of course a good add-on, but that is the foundation. Without which, I think this course of trading psychology will not help you. But most of us, we are chasing the perfect strategy, but more often than not, all the losses that we have incurred, or people who incur losses in the markets, it's not because of strategy. They fail because of mindset. So trading psychology is about the mental and emotional aspects that influence our trading decisions. The market is uncertain and it will always remain uncertain. If we think that the markets will be very, मतलब लास्ट 3-4 साल में लोगों को लगा है कि मार्केट्स बहुत सिंपल है, it is easy to make money, but I think last 1 year has been a good lens or a mirror to introspect that it is not as easy as it looks. And for the people who saw it for the first time, I think uh, the road was tough because इसके पहले जितने corrections आए थे, the recovery was a V-shaped recovery and it was quick. Like 2-3 months, there was a correction and you would recover. This is probably for the first time that there's a good period of trend reversal and correction which is going on with a lot of global uncertainties. So market uncertain ही रहने वाला है. We have to live with that fact that the markets will be uncertain. No strategy, no analysis will guarantee you success 100% time. 100% सक्सेस नहीं है. Odds are always 50-50. आप कोई भी ट्रेड लोगे, the mathematical probability is 50% profit, 50% for loss. We are trying to use the inefficiencies of the market or the our skills to increase that odds, probability from 50 to 60%, 70%. To expect it to go up to 90 or 100% is stupid. It is suicidal. It is never going to happen. I have dealt with more than 700, 800 clients, so I know for a fact that 100% or 80%, these numbers are only gimmicky. They will never be possible. We have to live with the fact that the odds are 50-50. All our efforts are to, slightly skew it in our favor, 60%, 70%. That's the max in terms of accuracy or, the win to loss ratio. Okay, I would request you all to please be on mute. I'm not sure who is. Suresh ji. Okay. Yeah. So, market की uncertainty हमेशा रहेगी. Strategy dynamic होनी चाहिए. We will have to build our systems in a manner that it adapts to the market. That's what we are trying to learn with technical analysis, with Jerry sir and with Archit. But your mindset needs to be consistent. Strategies will change with the market. Mindset is something that should be anchored and should be holistic, should be built in a manner that it can withstand all the turbulence and the uncertainty that the market will throw at you. So there's a saying that the market is not your enemy, your undisciplined mind is. So क्या होता है when we lose money or when we lose capital, we start blaming the market, but we have to understand that the market is here to stay. It was here before us, it will be here after us, and it is going to remain the way it is. There is a very beautiful video of late Sri Rakesh Junjunwala. I will share it on the group later on. He very beautifully explained in a analogy comparing markets to women, and I will share it with you all. It towards the end of the lecture. It very well explains the nature of market. And as a man, I am sure women are always right. So you have to live with it, and you have to always keep with it. The goal of this particular session is to shift our focus from charts, because last 2 days we've been with the charts. So we are trying to shift our focus from charts to character, from setups to self-awareness. Ultimate goal is to master the market, but it starts with mastering ourselves, our mind. The very first slide: master your mind to master the markets. So we will come to the importance of psychology in trading. Yesterday I mentioned that this is probably the most important slide of the entire presentation. 90% of our trading is psychology. Very most of us think it's the other way around. But to be honest, 80 to 90% of our trading is a mental game, not just skills. So एक है acquiring skills. So when we talk about knowledge, gaining knowledge, we, we are talking about acquiring the skills. Once you've acquired the skills, success will depend on the execution. So I am most passionate about two things in my life. One is the stock market and the other is cricket. So many of my examples I will correlate with cricket. So those of you who follow the game would probably be able to understand it in a much more uh, detail. So cricket में भी वही होता है. I think MS says it very nicely. It's the process which is more important. Outcome is a byproduct of the process, and everything apart from the cricket is not relevant. If we take care of the cricket, rest things will fall in place. So similarly, everything in our life, not just markets, is around our brain, like our mindset. If we have a positive mindset, if we have a mindset which is robust, which is capable to withhold pressure, I think we will do well in whatever we are doing, be it markets, be it business, be it your professional career. I think mind is the most. What That's what even I believe was said by MS in another video. I will share that as well. That mind is the most difficult thing to control because you saw the series India versus England, the fifth Test match. So many players are injured. So body, of course, will take a toll of the workload, but it's the mind which is telling your body that now you're tired, you can't do it anymore. So if you look at Ben Stokes in that fourth Test match, some disturbance once again. Okay, I have removed due to continuous disturbance. Okay. So if you look at Ben Stokes bowling that 10, 12 overs on the trot, do you think his body was not aching or he was not tired? But it was his mindset that nay, I have to win at all costs. And probably that last session on the third in the third test match is where we lost it. And it is ultimately, it is like even the markets, it's a game, survival of the fittest. The best of the best are fighting against each other when it comes to trading. One loses, one wins. Of course, there's a cartel of retail versus smart money, which will be again explained by Archit in more detail in his future lectures. But even that 10% or 3%, whatever the data is, the people who are making money, they're actually competing against each other, right? Whoever is has a better mindset will ultimately take the larger share of the pie. So 90% of our trading is psychology. We have to believe it. Only then can we work on building a strong psychology. We could have the most profitable technical strategies and setups in the world, but you know what is the sum of all that we are going to discuss in today's session? It is discipline, because the foundational concept for a for trading psychology or mindset is discipline, be it markets, be it any other walk of life. Without discipline, it is very difficult, I would say impossible, to succeed. Psychology will be the bridge between our strategy and profit. So we are mentioning your strategy versus execution, skills and application. Psychology, like a strong mindset in trading or in investing, will help us go from strategy to execution and be ultimately profitable, most importantly, on a consistent basis. Because without consistency, I think it's not a business if it is not consistent. For us to deploy so much time learning about the markets, the whole idea should be that this is our business. This is something that we are trying to build. The way I tried to build Sphera Securities back in 2018, it's an ongoing process. Every day you learn, every day you try to improve, right? So psychology is something similar. Every day we will be tested. Uh, Discipline is what will keep us going, and ultimately to be profitable over length of period of time, discipline and the right psychology is what going to help us. So we'll go on to the next slide. The brain, the human brain, and the financial decisions. Okay, so our brain has evolved. Like, so human is a social animal. We have evolved over period of time from the Stone Age, and we are built for survival. Uh, and not actually for success. Like, if you look at why 90% people are losing money, because the human mind is built in a certain way. जैसे ही लॉस होगा, you know, the entire narrative changes from entering a profitable setup to loss aversion. Try to get out of the trade with minimal disruption, minimal impact. So we our mind is trained in a manner that we have to survive, because of course, Stone Age, we don't relate to it, but the amygdala hijack. Okay, so this basically explains the fear and the greed concept. So the brain's what is amygdala? I am referring to this amygdala hijack. What is amygdala is basically the emotional center of the brain, which takes over when the logic shuts down. So as fight versus flight response, the first sentence of this slide. So our human brain has, over a period of time, evolved. We have come along from the Stone Age to the 21st century, a developed world, infrastructure, and all of that. But a human brain is designed in a manner that whenever there is difficulty, we try to move out from success to survival. जब आप कोई ट्रेड एंटर करोगे और उसमें 5-7% का ड्रॉडाउन दिखेगा, the instinct will change from the targets and the conviction, and you will start कि यार loss कम हो, we come back in profit, and most likely we will exit in a small loss or a small profit when the setup could have been rewarding ultimately. So the challenge is with this particular wiring of the brain, which is called the survival mindset. The amygdala hijack is the moment of fear or greed. जब ये fear आता है, the brain's emotional center takes over the logic. The logic shuts down. We will most likely panic when there is pressure, when there are market crashes, or there will be a opposite scenario when the markets are really buoyant and they're moving well. We will try and chase breakouts because the logic again shuts down and you take over. The hype takes over, the FOMO takes over. This is called the amygdala hijack. That's why smart people often make. That's why it's said that smart people often make dumb decisions in market. So a lot of HNIs lose money in the markets. A lot of HNIs. So it's said that HNIs are nothing wealthier version of retail. So it is not that money makes you smart, it's your mindset that makes you smart. Fight versus flight. So the fight versus flight mindset helped our ancestors survive the lions and the tigers and the dinosaurs, but it sadly doesn't help you survive the market corrections. In market, the survival instinct can actually backfire. It can push us to exit early or maybe enter too late in a FOMO. So it is the chemical conditioning of the brain. the dopamine factor, the fear and the greed emotions, the FOMO. These are the chemical reactions that actually cloud our judgment. How many of you believe that these are things which we cannot overcome? These are thoughts. A lot of people, they call themselves overthinker. So how many of you think that ये चीजें natural है, मतलब you cannot actually control what you are thinking? You all can mute yourself and answer if anybody would like to participate in the discussion. कितनों को ऐसा लगता है कि यार माइंड इज अ थिंग दैट यार इसको अपन कंट्रोल कैसे करेंगे, ये तो थॉट से, ये तो आती है, डर तो है, तो लगता है, तो इसको हम हमारे हाथ में नहीं है, ये कितने लोगों को लगता है? मनसुख भाई इज नॉट ऑन म्यूट, सो प्रॉब्ली मनसुख भाई प्रॉब्ली इज ऑन म्यूट. ठीक है, आई वुड टेक अ
Darshan, I
नॉर्मल.
feel the mind is influenced by people around.
राइट सर, राइट राइट.
So honestly, if somebody's bought a stock and it's increasing, and you feel FOMO, "Arey, if I should have bought, even it would have gone up." That is what is there actually. It's people influencing each other, and then decisions get influenced accordingly. And that is what happens when sometimes you buy in FOMO, and then you lose because your buy price may be higher than what your friend must have bought.
करेक्ट, करेक्ट, दैट हैपेंस a lot of times.
Very often, yeah.
But my question is, do you believe that the mind is a non-controllable?
No, I think the mind can always be trained. That's what training is for.
That's absolutely true. That's the answer, actually. Mind can be trained. And I actually, why I brought this up is because, last year, 2024, in somewhere in May, my wife actually told me that there was a summer yoga class, I believe, and she enrolled the both of us for the summer yoga class. तो वो सुबह 7 बजे का yoga session था by the bay, right bang opposite Shivaji Park in Dadar in Mumbai, right in front of the sea, at the Park Club. So the very first thing that they made us do is they asked us to breathe, and like, we are breathing. What is there to ask, like? And then the thought was that breathing is so normal, so natural. How often have we thought of breathing? मतलब हम सोचते हैं काफी सारी चीजों के बारे में, बट कितनी बार हम सोचते हैं कि वी हैव टू ब्रीद इन अ सर्टेन मैनर? I was not aware, like honestly, I was not aware that okay, yeah, your breathing can be controlled. And then of course the pranayam and everything, and you inhale, you exhale. But the point is that again, it is something that you have to train your body, because our natural wiring is such, जो 25 साल 26 साल 30 साल जिस तरीके से आपने breathe किया है, you will breathe in the same manner. Just because you attended a yoga session and the instructor motivated you to breathe in a very different manner, and you felt good about it, you felt a lot of energy after breathing like deep. It's not that you are going to do it every day for after that. It cannot be changed in a matter of one day or a 1 week, right? It's a habit that we have to form. For that, we will have to be consistent. So similarly, mind is something which will always go out of control. I will share that clip on the group. I think MS has Mahi bhai has very well put it that mind आपका भागेगा यहाँ से वहाँ. You have to, in that moment, let that judgment come in that okay, no, now you are running too far, stop. So that will come with training your mind. That's the whole purpose of this particular session. So all of that is because of these chemicals that are in our brain: dopamine, fear, greed. For people who don't know what is dopamine, it's basically a reward chemical. It fuels the thrill-seeking nature. It makes us crave actions, leading to a lot of things, including overtrading. So it leads to a lot of things, but it leads to a dangerous thing in the markets, which is called overtrading, revenge trading. taking impulsive decisions. It makes us ultimately put the logic window out. It goes out of the box, and then the brain takes over, and then markets become casino. And that's when 90 वो 50% की probability हो जाती है 90%, 97%. Because the mind ultimately, unless and until you train it on a consistent basis, on a regular basis, it is going to go back to his preset model. जो आपके शुरू के 20 25 30 साल आपने जिस तरह से सोचा है, जिस तरह से रिएक्ट किया है, जिस तरह से आपकी अपब्रिंगिंग रही है, फैमिली का बैकग्राउंड रहा है, ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स affect your way of thinking. I come from a Marwadi family, so for me, business comes natural, risk taking comes natural because that's what I've seen my parents do. Both my parents have their own businesses, so I've seen them do this all their life, right? So it is natural. But for somebody who comes from, let's say, a South Indian, well-educated, government job kind of a profile, उनको हम बोलेंगे कि भाई आप रिस्क लो, तो they will fear, they will the fear will come naturally to them. The risk aversion will come naturally to them. So risk appetite is a concept. Like it's a हर कोई पूछता है आपका risk appetite क्या है? Honestly, we don't know. Nobody knows what is a risk appetite till we are put in that situation where the risk is perceived and we are in losing some portion of our hard-earned capital, or somebody close to us. Until and unless we are in that situation, we don't know what is a risk appetite. But still, training can help you a certain visualize and put a number, put some data basically. So the entire point of this session is to help train our minds to start slowly think in a different manner. एक दिन में नहीं होगा, एक हफ्ते में नहीं होगा, एक साल में नहीं होगा. It will take time. It will take consistency. Most importantly, every decision that you take, you will have to first take a deep breath and ask yourself, am I on for this? And if the answer is yes, based on the process that is determined and that you've followed, and if you're going for it after that, when your mind says, yes, I'm in that right frame of mind, your mind will actually tell you that I'm in the right frame of mind to do this. So we are trying to achieve that slowly, gradually. This is the first session. It's a more theoretical session, but slowly, as the group builds, as we discuss a number of things, I think every now and then I will keep throwing something related to psychology and some examples, some insight, and I would request you all to just be participative in the entire journey. So now we'll discuss about the emotional biases in trading. Okay, so it is these biases are actually like invisible traps which we cannot see, but which are leading to this 50% probability going down the drain to 90% in terms of losing money. The 90% people lose money. Why? Because of biases. These are the invisible traps which cloud our judgment. Uh, Even when we have a solid strategy, many a times we fall victim to emotional biases, which actually leads to losses and breakdown of our results. So some of these biases are, of course, overconfidence. We tend to be. So I had put down a poll on the group. I'm happy that many of you have answered it correctly. Uh, so the poll that I had put out was, what matters more to you as a trader or an investor, being intellectually right or making money from the markets? आप क्या चाहते हो कि आप मार्केट में सही हो या आप चाहते हो कि मार्केट से आप पैसा बनाओ? 13 of you have answered you want to make money from the markets. 4 of you have answered you want to be right in the market. So I am right और I am right वाला जो एटीट्यूड है या जो एक थॉट प्रोसेस है, It often leads to overconfidence. It leads to losing foresight. It clouds your vision. You stop thinking rationally, logically. The overconfidence, the ego actually boosts the scenario in a manner that you know that इसमें आगे लॉस होने वाला है, but you're so overconfident that you choose to ignore it. You choose to sideline your strategy, your discipline. So it is one of the first biases, as mentioned here. The second is anchoring bias, or rather confirmation bias. So what is a confirmation bias? You buy a stock. Let's say you bought Adani Enterprises. Now आपने खरीद लिया है, आप डिसीजन ले चुके हो, आपने वो स्टॉक खरीद के आपने पोजीशन बना ली है. Now what will happen is, now you will start looking around. You will go on money control. You will go in that forums ka section where a bunch of idiots are typing nonsense right through the day. So you will go on Google and you will search for data or information which backs your decision. मतलब ये आपको खरीदने के पहले या पोजीशन एंटर करने के पहले जो चीज करनी चाहिए थी, आपने वो खरीदने के बाद यू हैव यू आर डूइंग इट टू कंफर्म दैट ये जो मैंने डिसीजन लिया है आर एक्चुअली इज करेक्ट. सो इसमें अगर कोई नेगेटिव कमेंट आ रहा है या कोई नेगेटिव, योर माइंड विल एलिमिनेट इट because your mind has already taken a decision and now you are looking for a confirmation of that decision. The truth may not be what you're trying to see, but sometimes truth doesn't feel good, so you choose to ignore it. So confirmation bias is a bias when you've taken a decision and then your mind is searching for validation of that decision. Recipe for disaster, but happens to everyone, most of us, including me, and has happened in the past. So how do we correct it? We will learn in the future slides. Next is the anchoring bias. What is an anchoring bias is, let's say for example आपने कोई trade enter करा and you bought at 100 rupees. The stock moved to 120 and it took a rejection. Now the price is 116. So you know that the price was 120. So you are anchored to that past price. अभी आपको बुक करना है तो आपको दिख रहा है रिजेक्शन है, बट यू वांट कि यार एक बार वो 120 आ जाए, मैं वहां बुक कर लूं. So you are anchored to that past price or that past event so much that you are not looking at the current situation, the present. Anchor is basically आप आपके एक past event या past price को पकड़ के बैठे हो, जिसके कारण आप rationally think नहीं कर रहे हो कि अभी क्या decision लेना है. So anchoring bias will cloud on your decision making and it will not allow you to take a decision based on the past event which has anchored in your mind. Very similar to that is recency bias. Let's say, for example, you had two back-to-back losses or three back-to-back losses. Happens. मैंने आपको बोला आप 60%, 50% is mathematical probability. Odds are 50-50. आप कोशिश कर रहे हो, ये जितनी मेहनत है, it is to skew that odds to maybe a 60% or a 70%. In that event, you will have days when you're losing back to back. Last 6-7 months have been such, where the markets have uh, especially since September 24 to March 2025, every month we have fallen. Every month, every new low has been created. So आप अपना strategy trade करना बंद कर दोगे. Even if it has worked beautifully, let's say for 5 years, because it didn't work for 3-4 months, do you change your strategy? You of course fine tune it to adjust to the market situation, but you don't eliminate that strategy because of a couple of losses that you've had. So you don't judge the entire game by the last over. एक ओवर खराब होना does not mean that match खराब हो गया है, right? So one example for that was I don't remember who bowled that over. I don't know if it was Arshdeep. I don't think it was Arshdeep. I'm referring to the T20 World Cup, India versus South Africa, the 14th over. No, it was a spinner. I think it was Kuldeep I think it was Kuldeep. Got hit for 15-18 runs in an over. And suddenly the equation changed from chasing 9, 10 runs and over to run a ball 30 of 30. Most of us, including me, thought that ye final bhi gaya. Because you saw that in a T20 match, when there is so much pressure and only 20 overs, 1 over can actually change the dynamics of the game. But what we saw after that was that Hardik Pandya, the Pant heroics, he stopped the game for a couple of minutes. There was a pause. Then Hardik came in, he took a wicket, and Bumrah came in, he took up a couple of wickets. The match changed. So in times when you are going through a bad phase in the markets, it is natural to lose the conviction in your strategy. But in that moment, you have to think that you have reached your, after a lot of effort, after having tried this strategy for multiple times, take a pause if needed, but don't stop. Don't judge the entire game by 1 over. The next bias is loss aversion. uh okay. So what happens is हम नफे में खड़े नहीं रहते, नुकसान में खड़े रहते हैं. ठीक है. So what happens is you book profits early, and in losses you tend to hold them. Why? Because it's the mental tuning that losses, it kind of makes us panic, and then the survival mindset takes over, and you want to now exit the losing trade with minimal impact. So loss aversion is a bias which clouds our decision making. It probably hurts our confidence. अगर आपके 3 4 लॉसेस हुए हैं, आपका नेक्स्ट ट्रेड आप बाय डिफॉल्ट सेम स्ट्रैटेजी होगी, सेम माइंडसेट होगा, बट आप उसको छोटे क्वांटिटी में ट्रेड करोगे. Why? Because your recent experience has been bad with the markets, and it has hurt your uh, mindset in a manner that now you are perceiving loss even before entering the trade. That fear is natural, but that fear is a part of the game. प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस दो ही आउटकम है बॉस. कोई तीसरा आउटकम नहीं है मार्केट का. आप कोई भी सौदा मारोगे, उसमें या तो नफा होगा या तो नुकसान होगा. अगर आप मारने के पहले डर रहे हो कि यार इसमें लॉस हो गया तो, या मारने के बाद आप सोच रहे हो यार मेरा स्टॉप लॉस हिट हो गया तो, दैट इज कॉल्ड अ नेगेटिव थिंकिंग. आई put a post 2 days back on law of attraction. So it's a universal science that we are what we think, and जो हम सोचेंगे वही होगा. If we start thinking negative, more often than not negative will happen. It is like pura universe trying to run its whatever that dialogue is against you. So that is something which is again a bias that we need to acknowledge. So the idea of this particular slide is acknowledge करो that ये biases है जो हमारे decision making को affect करते हैं. Over confidence, डिसीजन लेने के बाद वो डिसीजन राइट है उसका वैलिडेशन ढूंढना. लॉस अवर्जन, अ माइंडसेट वेयर वी आर fearful of losses, and it outweighs our decision, and it ultimately affects our strategy. Recency bias, recent events cloud our mind. अगर वो नेगेटिवली नहीं पॉजिटिवली लो, आपने 3 4 ट्रेड में प्रॉफिट कर लिया, suddenly the next trade the allocation will go out of the window. Now you will be putting 50% of the capital on that trade. So these are the things which are emotional uh, part of emotional biases, which are natural, which are a constant. They will always stay there. We have to train our mind to overcome these biases, right? Anchoring. So anchoring is again a bias which we are stuck with our past. In relationships and in markets, the only way to survive is by moving on. So move on. कोई इवेंट हो गया है, इट इज नॉट गॉन योर वे, दैट्स फाइन, दैट्स पार्ट ऑफ द गेम. अगेन quoting late Sri Rakesh Jhunjhunwala ji, he mentioned very clearly that it is not that he has not lost money, he has lost money many a times, but he ensured that he did not lose to not be able to fight the next day. Fight versus flight. So when you know that things are not going in your direction, take a flight. आप भाग जाओ वो सिचुएशन से, बंद कर दो आपका स्क्रीन, ट्रेड करना बंद कर दो. द मोमेंट यू नो दैट यू लॉस्ट 10% ऑफ योर कैपिटल, हिट इट, एग्जिट, पोजीशन छोड़ दो, मार्केट बंद कर दो, टेक अ नैप, हैव अ गुड मील. These are the things in the long run which will help you. And I am saying this because I have gone through all of this and I've seen it for more than 600, 700 people who work with us. Uh, Many of them are investing. So, of course, the ratio is not that bad. But I have seen 95, 99% people, including the best. I will show you, I think it's about 12. So we'll take a couple of slides more. Then I will show you one ledger. How many of us are still here? 21 of us. Okay, मैं एक ledger share करूँगा आपके साथ. After we cover a couple of slides, somewhere around 12:10, I will show you, visualize करो आप कि क्या हुआ and ये biases किस तरह से affect करे हैं and how a beautiful strategy has been ruined. I will show you a live example. Data hai. It is on my broking terminal, one of my clients report. For privacy reasons, I have hidden all the confidential details, but I will show you so that it helps you visualize what can actually go wrong by not giving regards to trading psychology. It is indeed, in my opinion, and I work with Archit, I work with all these people, Jerry sir, but I can tell you, जिस दिन trading psychology, discipline, risk management is out of the window, the best of the best strategies will fail and they are bound to fail. Be rest assured. So ये चीज जो हम कर रहे हैं, trading psychology, it is not a theoretical lecture, although I am trying to present it in a manner that I cover all the slides, but it has to become a way of life. It has to become how we approach the markets, how we start thinking. So take this up. I will also share a detailed course by Jared Taylor, uh, the guru from whom I learned about trading psychology. I am not from a psychology background. I don't know if I'm sounding like one, but I am from a chartered accountancy legal background. So ये सब चीजें मैंने पढ़ी नहीं है, but ये सब चीजें मैंने experience की है in the markets, and in the process have started reading more about them and trying to train my mind in trying to become better at decision making. I'm sure I'm not 100% there, but at least I'm 60, 70% there. So it's a stepping stone. uh, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. So we have taken the step today by attending this session, and it is going to be an ongoing journey. It is not a destination, it's a journey. Success in the market is not a destination, it's a journey. आप कितना भी पैसा कमा लो, the law of diminishing marginal utility has an exception, which is greed. Greed is an exception to the law of diminishing marginal utility. आप जितना कमाओगे आपको और कमाने की लालसा होगी. So greed is a factor which is not going to leave us. So success is not a monetary figure. It will keep changing. So it's a journey. We are in it together. Please try and focus on building a strong psychology. That's the whole agenda of trying to take this lecture in a more theoretical manner. Abhi, we will come to pre-trade psychology. What is pre-trade psychology? तो ट्रेड लेने के पहले, ऐसा नहीं है कि मैंने मार्केट चालू किया 9 बजे, उठा मैंने आई जस्ट ब्रश माई टीथ एंड आई सिट ऑन द कंप्यूटर एंड आई सी अ ट्रेड एंड आई स्टार्ट ट्रेडिंग. वैसे नहीं होता है. देयर इज a particular process that needs to be followed before we start taking a trade. That is called the pre-trade process, which will cover the psychology and which will cover your strategy both. It is not just limited to your psychology, it is limited to your it is extended to your psychology and your strategy, both the aspects. अगर आप मेरे को फॉलो कर रहे हो for the last few years, uh, You would have seen that every morning before the market opens, there is some data that I share. There's a report which I share. There is some technical levels and indicators that I share on a daily basis. That is a part of my process. That is the first thing I do after helping my wife in the kitchen. That's the first thing I do before I start preparing for the markets. So first thing is you take account of what has happened overnight. Okay, what is it that changed between yesterday's closing and today's opening? आप वो चीजें रीड करो, समझो, एनालाइज करो. If you have positions, there was a result. You go through the result. It is suicidal if you have holding positions and you don't know कि भाई इसका result आया है या इसका result कब आने वाला है. I hold more than 60 stocks in my portfolio, including my family portfolio. But every single result of the company every quarter, I will ensure that I know the date when the results are coming out, and I have seen it the moment the results are out. What action needs to be taken is wo secondary, but that is a part of the process. Awareness about the markets, about your positions, about the events which are going to be unfolding before you enter a position. अगर मैं कोई ट्रेड ले रहा हूँ, I should know that okay, in this week, is there a result? Is there an event which will affect this particular trade? So these are the things which will help you plan your trade better. ये planning का stage है, which we call as the pre-trade preparation or pre-trade psychology or pre-trade strategy. Before you place a single trade, most important when we discuss pre-trade psychology is your mental state matters more than your chart setup. When I learned driving, I was told that, on days when you don't feel good, don't be on the driver's seat. The markets and trading in the markets are very similar to driving. The day you are not in your mental right frame of mind, right state emotionally, stay out of the market. Market खत्म नहीं हो रहा है अगर आप आज ट्रेड नहीं करोगे तो. मार्केट आपसे पहले था, मार्केट आपके बाद भी जिंदा रहेगा. Even when you die, markets will be on. Markets, unless you die on a weekend, that's a different thing. But market is like an ocean. It will be before you. It will stay after you. So don't be in that FOMO that if I don't trade, और वो mindset develop मत करो कि हर रोज trade करना है, compulsively trade करना है. So before you take the trade, you have to check whether you are in the right frame of mind. You're calm, you're confident, you are not in a fear zone emotionally. Fear zone, I always say, is a good buy zone, but emotionally, if you are fearful, you will most likely exit when the pain is the maximum. So you enter a setup when you are feeling confident, and loss होगा इसके वजह से अगर आप confident नहीं हो रहे हो. So loss is a part of the game. पैसा आएगा पैसा जाएगा, कितना बचा साल के एंड में, that is the entire efforts are for that. The efforts are not for what you made in this month or what you made in this trade. The efforts are to ensure that every trade that you keep taking day on day, week on week, month on month, ends up piling and, taking your capital higher, growing your capital at a rate which beats the inflation, which beats the opportunity cost, which is a good benchmark at which we are uh, growing. That is the whole chase, right? There is nothing else. इतना मेहनत हम क्यों कर रहे हैं? पैसा कमाने के लिए कर रहे हैं. बट पैसा आप आज कमाओ, कल कमाओ, आपको थ्रिल आया, फिर आपने एक ट्रेड ले लिया जिसमें बहुत बड़ा पोजीशन ले लिया, एंड यू लूज द मनी and we're back to square one. It happens with so many. I see so many of my clients get through that phase and they will not change no matter how many times I speak to them, because training your breath and training your mind is not outside force will only motivate you for a day or a two. जैसे वो योगा टीचर ने मेरे को 2-3 दिन, एक महीने का कोर्स में she made me breathe better. But today I'm breathing the same, right? I did not take the initiative and the efforts to consistently keep doing it. And it happens because of passion. I am passionate about markets. तो मैं यूरोप हूँ, मैं कहाँ पे भी हूँ, मैं थाईलैंड हूँ, यूरोप हूँ, कहीं पे भी हूँ, I will इंडिया के 9 बजे के पहले मेरे को सब चीजें पता है कि मार्केट के बारे. इवन व्हेन वी वर इन Italy last year, markets were opening at what 4:35 a.m. in the morning. Before that, my clients in the premium membership knows that pre-trade report पहुंच गई थी, pre-market analysis पहुंच गया था. I've gone through it. So it is something that if you are passionate about something, you will put efforts. If you are not, you will not. So you have to first question yourself: are you actually passionate about the markets? Because if you are not, and you are in it only to make money without being passionate, जो मैं क्लिप भेजूंगा राकेश झुंझुनवाला जी का, like if you're not that madly passionate about markets, there are professionals who can manage your money. There are mutual funds where you can park your money. There is absolute no need, if you are in it to make money, just to make money, there is absolute no need to enter yourself. You have registered PMSs, you have brokers like us who can help you, you have mutual funds who can give you 14-15% yearly returns. हाँ, if you're passionate about markets, ये पूरा मेहनत is worth it. अगर आप इसमें कर रहे हो मेहनत और आप एक कॉन्शियस एफर्ट ले रहे हो टू improve your mindset, improve your methods, improve your strategy, learn, listen to more insightful people, listen to experienced people. I think the most underrated uh, quality or most underrated factor in the markets are experience. कितनी बार आपने ये चीज होते हुए देखी है हिस्टोरिकली विल डिटरमाइन व्हाट एक्शंस यू टेक इन द मोमेंट ऑफ हीट. We saw the India Pakistan war. Everyone was panicking. We have not seen a war like this before. But for somebody like a Jerry sir, who has lived in a Gulf country under war, or who has seen the India China war, India Pakistan war, he knows that okay, what can be the worst. Okay, markets will react for a week and it will be back to normal. So these are the things that come with experience, and experience is time, and time is the only thing which is not in our hand. You have to give time to time. Only then things will happen. We cannot fast track experience. We can fast track everything else. You can watch this video and recording on 1.5x and learn the concepts faster. But जो मार्केट सिखाएगा, जो अल्टीमेट टीचर है जो सिखाएगा, वो तो टाइम लेके ही सिखाएगा. उसको अपन बिना टाइम दिए तो नहीं सीख सकते. सो ये सब चीजें हैं रिगार्डिंग द साइकोलॉजी बिफोर एंटरिंग द ट्रेड. फर्स्ट इज द पैशन फॉर द मार्केट्स. Develop that. Only then you will be able to stay consistent. I will motivate you for a day or a two to introspect and check your biases. I will give you a nice checklist which will cover a lot of things which you can check before taking every trade. But how often are you going to stay consistent with that? It will determine, the passion for the markets will determine it, nothing else. So one more technique apart from the checklist is journaling. Journaling your intentions. Why am I entering this trade? What was the confirmation of the strategy? What was the logic? What is my plan? So एक बिल्डिंग में आग लगी है. अगर मैं एक सिचुएशन लू, विजुअलाइज करो, बिल्डिंग में आग लगी है, लोग वो बिल्डिंग से भाग रहे हैं, दे आर कमिंग रनिंग आउट ऑफ द बिल्डिंग. बट अ फायर फाइटर इज एक्चुअली एंटरिंग द बिल्डिंग. व्हाई? बिकॉज ही हैज अ प्लान ऑफ एक्शन कि मेरे को अंदर जाके क्या करना है, आग कैसे बुझेगी, मेरे को क्या क्या चीजें करनी है. सो वन पर्सन इज रनिंग आउट, द अदर पर्सन इज ह्यूमन है, दोनों बोथ आर ह्यूमंस, but the response is so different. Why? Because the training is different. Same is with the mind. If you are going to be a person of ordinary mindset, not training your mind, what will happen in times which are difficult? You will act like an ordinary citizen and run out of that situation. Flight mode, run out. Most likely miss the opportunity because markets don't give you the entry when you have exited. We have seen it with the FIIs over the years. उन्होंने जो भाव से बेचा है मार्केट को, ऊपर में ही उनको लेना पड़ा है. तो the thought process is, you journal your intentions. Why I am entering this trade? What is the logic? आप किधर लिखो, थोड़े दिन लिखोगे ना वो माइंड में रजिस्टर होने लग जाएगा. Visualize करो, rehearse करो. So before I took this lecture, I actually had a shower and I visualized what is it that I'm planning to communicate. What is the purpose of this lecture? The purpose is not that we are selling this course. Hardly 2-3 people have taken the paid version of this Goda. We are not even interested. We in fact wanted them to not take a paid version. But I know that people who will associate with us now will be associated with us for a length of time. And it is very important to impart knowledge and try to share experience which will help them overcome the situations when they face them in the markets themselves. So that is the whole idea of this particular session. Visualize करो आप क्या अचीव करना चाहते हो, आप passionate हो markets के लिए. You know, the elite athletes train their mind. So human brain is also a muscle ultimately. Brain is a muscle. Virat Virat बोलता है, I don't know how many of you have heard it. Virat Kohli mentioned this about muscle memory. So when you are in a pressure situation, how you reacted? What was your learning in that mistake? The next time you are in the similar situation, you will take that experience and do something different. You might fail again, you might fail again, you might fail 4-5 times, but एक muscle memory create हुआ है कि मैंने ये situation में ये रिएक्ट किया, ये आउटकम आया. ऑफ कोर्स उसके पहले एक प्री ट्रेड, प्री प्लान, प्री मैच स्ट्रेटजी प्रोसेस था which was full proof, which is why I entered the stadium and I faced the crowd and I faced Mitchell Stark or whosoever the bowler is, and I was in a pressure situation. I played it, I failed, I played it again. The next time I'm in that similar situation, I failed again, I played again, I failed again. Ultimately you start winning because the mind has registered it being a muscle. जो जिम जाते हैं उनको आइडिया है मसल मेमोरी क्या होता है. So mind is a muscle and the muscle memory will stay with you. So you visualize, you journal every mistake. You try to visualize whenever you take a trade कि इस ये trade में what is the positive, what is the negative, what is the risk, what is the reward. And you imagine how the trade will play out. Don't look at the PNL after you've entered a trade. You try to imagine how the setup will play and react to the situation based on the muscle memory that you've created over a period of time. So ये है, इसीलिए जिन्होंने जल्दी स्टार्ट किया है, छोटे कैपिटल से स्टार्ट किया है ना, they have done all their mistakes with a smaller capital when the stakes were not too high. When the stakes rise, you have to evaluate how passionate I am to go through this grind. If you are, most welcome. No amount of money is too big for the markets. It will, like, no amount of money is big or small for the markets. It is only your mindset and mindset and mindset. अगर आप रिस्पेक्ट के साथ मार्केट में आओगे, मतलब पैशन के साथ आओगे, लर्निंग एटीट्यूड के साथ आओगे, एफर्ट्स डालोगे, डिसिप्लिन में रहोगे, कंसिस्टेंट रहोगे, results will come over a period of time. It may not happen immediately, but you have to have that conviction that results will come. And we've been holding that conviction for the last 6, 7, 8 months now. The markets have been in a bad state. Why? Because our muscle memory knows that, okay, this is, a period of fatigue, decision fatigue, investment fatigue, which will be rewarded when everybody is out of the market. This is not what I am seeing on the charts or, based on the fundamental and the macro factors. This is what psychology has taught us over the last 10 years or 12 years, that every time there will be pressure, there will be pessimism in the market, the rewards will be that much higher. But आपको गेम में रहना पड़ेगा. You cannot exit midway. Then you don't reap the rewards. To reap the reward, you have to stick. You have to mining. So diamond, I don't know how many of you are here from the diamond industry. So वो diamond mine में जब खोदते you have to dig till you actually hunt, or an oil farm, like till you find the oil, you have to keep going. जब तक आप वो last हथौड़ा नहीं मारोगे, आपको success का taste नहीं मिलेगा. So markets are like that. You have to keep striking it with a hammer and not the markets, yourself. You have to hammer yourself every day कि अच्छा आज ये गलती की, क्या सीखा, ये गलती की, क्या सीखा, क्या सीखा, क्या सीखा, क्या सीखा, what is it, ये सीख से मैंने क्या चीज ली, what did I train my mind. That experience will help you in the long run when you look back. And I hope when you look back over the years and look back on a profitable journey, you will have some reference to this lecture, or to this particular discussion that we're having. So it's 12:15. I think we will end the session at this slide. We have covered the pre-trade. I will start the next lecture with the same slide. So we have a recap, and I wanted to discuss one more thing actually: risk management and psychology and fear in trading. Okay. Next session I will cover both these concepts. So right now we have discussed till the biases and the pre-trade psychology. ट्रेड में एंटर होने के पहले आपका मेंटल स्टेट कैसा होना चाहिए, फोमो में ट्रेड मत करो, एक्सटर्नल प्रेशर, घर पे झगड़ा हुआ है, बॉस से गुस्सा हो, लाइफ से थक हार चुके हो, इसके लिए ट्रेड लेना है, इरिटेटेड हो, इसके लिए ट्रेड लेना है, ओवर लॉस हुआ है, लॉस कवर करने के लिए ट्रेड लेना है, ओनली अ रेसिपी ऑफ डिजास्टर, रेसिपी फॉर डिजास्टर, इट विल नॉट हेल्प यू. Journal your trades. Remember that no trade is a very good trade. On days when you are not mentally fit, mentally fatigued, it is better to stay out than to try and fight the markets. आप मार्केट को फाइट करने जाओगे ना, आप जीतोगे नहीं. इट इज लाइक अ ओशन एंड यू आर स्विमिंग. इफ यू ट्राई टू स्विम अगेंस्ट द वेव्स, you are not going to succeed. 100% you are not going to succeed. You have to flow in the direction of the waves, right? With your strategy, with the swimming technique that you've learned, knowing that okay, what at what point you have to stop. So no trade is a good trade. Trade preparation is not just technical preparation. Archit and uh, Jerry sir are the best people to help you out with. We have started with the technical analysis session for 2 days, and today we tried to cover the psychological aspects. We've covered till the pre-trade. The next session we will discuss trade लेने के पहले की चीजें चेक करके आप ट्रेड एंटर करे हो. Now what? Now the you are on the pitch, you are batting. Now is the real pressure. अभी तक का सारा प्रेपरेशन ये प्रेशर हैंडल करने के लिए था. तब क्या करना है? So stay tuned for the next lecture. Before I end, I am going to okay, bias, confidence, anchoring of bias. Okay, let me see what is the AI assistant asking me to do here. Okay, I hope you can see it.
Yes, Darshan, I think so. We can see the screen, but your voice is just little bit of lag.
Yeah, my voice has. Okay, am I better now?
No, yes, yes, you have better.
ठीक है. अब मैं आपको एक लेजर दिखा रहा हूँ. ऑप्शन सेलर का लेजर है. Lot of the biases and the psychology that we discussed, I have hidden all the personal credentials, the name, the client code, the address, the mobile number, because see, the purpose of sharing this particular ledger with you guys is to just show you how important psychology is, discipline is, and uh, risk management is. आप ये लेजर देख रहे हो, 1st April 2024, you can see the balance 24 lakhs 12,035 rupees. It's the opening balance of this particular client. So giving a background to this client, he is a chartered accountant, and he's been an option seller for more than 6 years now. 6 साल के ऊपर का एक्सपीरियंस है मार्केट का, और अच्छे कैपिटल पे ऑप्शन सेलिंग करते आया है. You see, this is the debit and the credit. Credit is the amount of money which is credited to his ledger, basically the profit. Most of the positions that he would enter, he would exit on the same day. Now look at it. पूरा अप्रैल देख लो आप. Just look at the entire April. Recency bias. 1st April to 30th of April, every single day he has traded. यहाँ तक देखो, एक भी डेबिट नहीं है, सारा क्रेडिट है. मतलब पूरा महीना, every day that he traded, he has taken money from the markets. 25 lakh, 24 lakh capital end of April, this date has grown to 63 lakh 82,788 rupees.
Darshan,
Option
sorry to
seller.
interrupt. I cannot see your screen. Hello. Hello.
Uh,
विजिबल है,
can
दर्शन विजिबल है.
visible है
Visible.
ना? मेरे को
Okay.
भी visible था. नहीं, I
Okay,
think
bro.
now it's not visible. One second. One second. One second. Just a moment. I think there was an internet connectivity issue. I will just re-log in with the laptop. One
Yeah.
second. Okay. Yeah. Post. Please share my screen. Give me a moment, guys. I guess now you should be able to see the screen. Can you
Yes,
confirm?
yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So आपने देखा, first professional option seller है, and his strategy involved some element of option buying. Uh, so you see that he was able to grow his capital in a month like April 2025 from 24 lakhs to 63 lakh 82,000. 24 lakh minus 64 lakhs almost. 40 लाख कमाया है 24 लाख के कैपिटल पे. 166% returns in 1 month on a capital of 24 lakh. तो ऐसा नहीं है छोटे कैपिटल पे काम किया है, डिसेंट कैपिटल पे पैसा कमाया है. You see, in on 5th of May, he lost 49,000 rupees. Again, he was profitable till 12th of May. 72 lakh 34,000 is the ledger on the end of 12th of May 2025. Come 13th of May, you can see a debit of, yeah, you can see a debit of 68 lakh 82,317 रुपए. मतलब 42 days or maybe almost 30 days continuously profit होने के बाद, I'm not sure what happened on the 13th of May. There was no news, no event. I think it was an expiry. I'm not sure. But there was, of course, there was volatility. But one day, just one day, the risk management went off. Must have had some situation, I don't know, which affected the trading psychology, the mindset. And एक दिन में जो मेहनत करा है to build that 24 lakhs first, then to grow it to 72 lakhs in 42 days, 90% of that, 95% of that has gone in one day. तो पहली चीज तो ये है कि हर एक ट्रेड लेने के बाद या whenever you trade, you should have an exit strategy. And not only limited to trade, but on days when you know that, okay, the day is not going in my favor. I am trying to swim against the market. Let me take a flight out. होता है, हर एक के साथ होता है, मेरे साथ भी हुआ है. When I lost maybe 30-40,000 rupees, I tried to recover it. I ended up losing 1.5 lakh rupees. वो होता है लोगों के साथ, सबके साथ हुआ है, सबके साथ होता है. But you should have a percentage of your total corpus, total investment as a in your mind that अच्छा इतना loss हो गया, no matter what, I am closing that bloody app. 68 lakh rupees loss in a single day after 40 days of consistent performance, overconfidence, recency bias, anchoring, loss aversion. लॉस आप सोचते हो यार थोड़ा कम हो जाए, जैसे 100 में बेचा 250 हो गया, आप सोचते हो यार 150 हो जाए. 250 में नहीं काटा, 350 हो गया, आप सोचते हो यार एक बार 200 आ जाए, 225 आ जाए, 250 आ जाए, 500 हो जाता है. देन यू आर जस्ट प्रेइंग टू गॉड, सर इसको साढ़े भैया भैया इसको 350 लाओ, मैं काटता हूँ वापस, गलती नहीं करूंगा. एंड दैट लॉस अवर्जन माइंडसेट टेक्स यू एंड मेक्स यू टेक अ वेरी बिग रिस्क. स्ट्रैटेजी इज आउट ऑफ द विंडो, रिस्क मैनेजमेंट, डिसिप्लिन, सब कुछ एक दिन में खराब हुआ. एंड मार्केट व्हेन इट रिवॉर्ड्स यू ना फॉर 40 days, इट स्लैप्स यू वन डे. यू शुड हैव दैट स्ट्रैटेजी कि भाई कितना थप्पड़ खाना है कब. अगर आप रूम, मम्मी गुस्सा है और आप रूम में बैठे रहोगे, मम्मी के सामने है, तो आप मार ही खाने वाले हो. आपको भागना पड़ेगा. आप सोचोगे कि यार नहीं, माँ का दिल है तो वो 40 days शी वॉज काइंड, तो शी विल बी काइंड एंड द पोजिशन विल रिवर्स, माई लॉसेज विल गो ऑफ. दैट इज प्रैक्टिकली नॉट गोइंग टू हैपन गाइस. वी हैव अ लाइव एग्जांपल. 13th of May, this client of mine has lost 95% capital in a single trading session. Next day is covered around 70,000. Again, on a capital of 3.5 lakh, he's managed to cover 70,000. That's 20% more, almost 20% of your capital, which was remaining. उसके बाद उसने वापस नुकसान किया है 3,95,000 का, 24,000 रुपए का बैलेंस रह गया है. फ्रॉम 72,34,000, it took just 3 sessions to come back to 24,000. We started at 24 lakhs. In 3 sessions, after 40 days of consistent performance, the capital has gone down from 72 lakhs to 24,000. What happens उसके बाद ये होता है कि भाई स्ट्रैटेजी छूटती नहीं है, आदत छूटती नहीं है. वी ट्राई टू, यू नो जो कैपिटल है उस पर काम करते हैं, कोशिश करते हैं. capital reduced to 1900 rupees. 26th of May, the guy has added another 10 lakh rupees to the account. नाउ ये 10 लाख जब ऐड किया होगा ना, तो प्रॉब्लम क्या आया होगा कि एंकर है, नुकसान किया है, कवर करना है, एंकर है माइंड में, आई हैव लॉस्ट अ बिग सम ऑफ कैपिटल, आई वांट टू रिकवर इट बैक. हाउ डू आई रिकवर इट बैक? दैट इज द ओनली माइंडसेट इन द हेड. फिर मार्केट अगेन रिवॉर्डेड यू 1,90,000, 3,13,000, 27,000, 25,000. 10 लाख का कैपिटल 17 लाख हो गया. फिर से 7-8 लाख रुपए का लॉस कवर हो गया फ्रॉम द 72 lakhs. Again, series of. So what has happened is when you lose that one day, when you break your discipline, you break your strategy, when you break your rules, only that one day, it hurts you so big that it gets carried forward. उसका roll over और spill over effect, spill over होते रहता है. The guy has lost 10 lakh rupees again, 13,000. 72 lakhs capital gone, another 10 lakhs added gone. Here, 13,000. 10 lakh गया. 24th of June, less than a month, he had added 10 lakhs on 26th of May, less than a month, has added another 10 lakh rupees. See, 10 lakhs another added. Again, he's made 17% in a day after adding. See, when what happens is अगर आप पिछला past के incidents, situations मन में लेके चलोगे ना, तो better outcome नहीं आता है. Outcomes are the same. And I may say it, बोलना आसान है, implement करना बहुत मुश्किल है. Had I been in this kind of a situation, I can imagine what it would have gone through my like मेरे mental state क्या होता. I cannot even imagine because I've never been through such a situation. But it's really I felt bad being his broker for so many years. Imagine the guy has put so much effort over the years to build strategy, implement it consistently. We saw the consistency का result ना. 40 days every day he has made profits. डिसिप्लिन एक दिन छूटा, नुकसान कहाँ काटना है वो माइंड नहीं चला. माइंड वेंट इन दैट फाइट और फ्लाइट, सॉरी, माइंड वेंट इन दैट लॉस एवर्जन माइंडसेट एंड एंडेड अप लूजिंग, blowing up the account once, twice, 10 lakhs added twice, 10 lakhs added again it's burnt. 12,000 का कैपिटल बचा है. So a strategy which was coming through so nice only because of two things: anchoring bias, overconfidence, emotional. See, in the next session, I will explain you a concept of decision fatigue, emotion fatigue. Even if I don't have it on the slides, just remind me. I have to cover these two concepts. This will help you understand कि क्या हुआ exactly. कि जो बंदे ने 40 दिन में 2x किया था capital, 3x किया था capital, from 24 lakhs, he almost went up to 73 lakhs, has managed to put another 20 lakhs and lose that entire 20 lakhs and the 72 lakhs. So, ये है psychology. If you don't give regard to markets, trading psychology, exit strategy, ये सब पे focus नहीं करोगे, you know, and if you trade in instruments like the derivatives, which are highly risky, रिजल्ट ऐसा ही आना है. रिजल्ट चेंज नहीं होने वाला है. आप कितनी भी कोशिश कर लो, रिजल्ट चेंज नहीं होने वाला है. 97% पीपल लूज मनी इन एफएनओ. नंबर इज अ डेटा, ऐसे ही नहीं है. It's a data, it's a fact, and I would sincerely request everyone to start building a strong mindset. We are just into the sessions. Let me know how I can help. I will be dropping a document today in the lecture as well, so you guys can have a look. Now we open the meeting for Q&A. 15 minutes, 12:45, 12:50 we wrap. Anybody has any questions? very sad but reality, and this is one example. I have seen so many of my FNO clients lose so much money to the market, and they will not stop. No matter how many times I tell them, they will not stop. Some instruments are made to lose money. वो भी अपने को ध्यान में रखना पड़ेगा. Some instruments are made so that we lose money. All right. Any questions, anyone? Happy to answer, happy to share my thoughts.
क्वेश्चन मेरे को मतलब एक क्वेश्चन था आपसे।
Yes, brother,
एक्चुअली
बोलिए.
मेरे 3 अकाउंट है
हम्म,
डीमैट।
हम्म,
one is for mutual fund, one is for swing trading, one is for investment. Is
yeah.
that okay? और कुछ अलग स्ट्रेटेजी करनी चाहिए? वन मोर थिंग जो आज आपने करी बताई वो मैं ध्यान रखूंगा कि रेगुलर ट्रेड लेना भी सही नहीं रहता, कभी कभार ऑब्जर्व करना भी चाहिए।
Sir, we will discuss investment fatigue the next class. Uh, it will help you understand why it is important to take some days off from trading. Even if the markets are good, it's okay if you miss a couple of days. Market कहीं जाने वाला नहीं है. Be an investor, have your investments open. As an investor, you lose out a lot if you miss a couple of good days. But as a trader, it doesn't matter. Every day markets are open. Every day you will get chance to cover, to take new trades, trade on new opportunities. But trade when you have the best mindset. Because a bad mindset, a bad strategy can still be profitable, but a bad mindset cannot. It will ultimately lead to losses. So that is the short. मैंने एक statement जो बोला है, bad mindset will 100% lead to losses. A bad strategy may or may not, because probability 50-50 है. हो सकता है आपने शॉर्ट किया, आपको लग रहा है कि भाई नुकसान हो, बाजार गिरेगा, बट बाजार, और एक्चुअल में बाजार गिर गया, आपकी स्ट्रैटेजी गलत थी, मतलब आपने जो चार्ट देखा रहेगा वो सही से नहीं देखा है, लेकिन मार्केट एक्चुअली फेल एंड यू एंडेड अप बीइंग प्रॉफिटेबल. दैट कैन हैपन. Strategy level पे failure one off can happen, and you can end up being profitable. But mindset is something where you can lose. You just saw the example. One day can kill you. So just be mindful of that. That's the whole point. And alag alag account hona is a very good strategy. I have two accounts. One is where all my long term investments are parked. That is an account which I don't log in. I log in once in 2 weeks or once in a month. Result season hai, to I log in more frequently. But other than that, once the earnings are over, I will not be watching it. I'll watch it probably once in a month. Trading portfolio is 15-20% of my total investment in the market. That is for growth. उधर आपको कमाना ही पड़ेगा साल का 80%, 90% on your trading capital. If you don't make that kind of a return on your trading capital, of course, last year was not that great, but your growth capital has to be 15-20% of your total investment in the market in equities. And on that, you can take risks, because that is where you are trying to chase alpha. So these are the couple of things we will be discussing at length in the next session as well. And when Archit takes over, uh, he will explain you his side of things. He will also be sharing his thoughts on his experience in the market is going to be far more enriching and will add more value. So we look forward to the next session. Any more questions? Anyone?
Can you share a trading journal or something if you?
I will.
No.
I will be sharing a trading. I will be sharing a checklist which you need to share. Keep in mind, which you need to at least on every major trade that you take. If you can fill it before taking the trade, it will do a world of good for your strategy and keeping a check on your mind. So I will share that. Try and implement it. After a few weeks or few months, you will not be needing the pen and the pencil and the paper. वो फिर mind में register हो जाएगा. एक वो रूटीन बन जाता है ना, मसल मेमोरी बन जाता है, फिर वो हर ट्रेड लेने के पहले आपको। हाँ मनसुख भाई बोलो।
नमस्कार सर. सर કઈ યાદ
નમસ્કાર
કરો
સર.
મને? હે?
મને લાગો તમારો તમારો અવાજ આવે છે એના માટે તમને પૂછું.
શેના માટે સર?
કાઈ ક્વેરી છે તમને?
નહીં નહીં ક્વેરી કોઈ નથી સાહેબ. આનંદ આનંદ કોઈ ક્વેરી નહીં.
ઓલ રાઈટ સર, થેન્ક યુ.
ક્વેરી.
I have one question, Mr. One question. Can you hear me?
યસ સર.
Based on all that is happening in today's world, geopolitical problems, high market volatility, no market in the world is spared except the US markets, which is making new highs. European markets have been bashed. Japanese market bashed. All Asian markets, although they are recovering faster than Indian markets. What do you expect will happen in the next 3 months? I have my own levels which are given on the main group. What do
Sir,
you
I
expect?
only believe in Jerry bhai.
Thank you for that. But your view, sir.
So my
General
view is
view.
quite simple. See, I have been invested in the market since 2015 now. So my portfolio has grown over these years. I cannot sell all my holdings because I perceive risk. I can obviously manage it with my growth capital, with the hedges, with some investments in some hedge assets like gold. So I try to do that. I don't trade on a regular basis because obviously as a broker, I am more committed towards the set of clients I have. But had I been a full-time trader, I would take it one day at a time, be very, very stock specific, not try to time the market. I would try to avoid chasing breakouts, which I've been recommending for the last few months now. Because, क्या होता है? Yesterday also there was one query by Pratik, I believe, where, there was a slight breakdown and the stock moved. So there are false breakdowns and there are false breakouts. दोनों हो गए ये market में. You have to have the fundamental reason why you entered the stock has to be very clear. If suppose something like a GMDC, when I entered at 280, the story was the mining play, and I knew that the rare earth story is building up. So my entry was not based on technical. So I did not exit it when I saw there is a like at 460, 470, there was an exhaustion visible on the chart, but I did not exit it. But I had booked 50% profits at 450 earlier because that was part of my trading strategy. And मेरे को इतना return आएगा तो मैं 50% book करूँगा. So you have to play the strategy. I think strategy part, Jerry sir and Archit will be the best ones to explain you. But if you ask me, it is always advisable to be conservative than to be aggressive at all times. Because if you are conservative, you lose on opportunity to make money. But if you are aggressive at all times, you lose capital, as you saw in the example that I shared. So I would try to be conservative, not trade too much too aggressively. But now, according to my strategy, which I will discuss in the next class, which is like the uh, fear index, the market mood index. I like these levels. I am a buyer at these levels. Any stock which I have a strong conviction on, I would look to buy, especially at good support levels. And Jerry sir has very beautifully taught us the reversal. Not in the yesterday class. In the next class, he'll be teaching, but in the previous webinar when he took, he has explained, when you average your stocks. So that is a good concept. Jerry sir, in your next lecture, please highlight that when you average, like how you not average when the stock is falling, but you average when it starts picking up. That's a good concept which I learned from you after so many years of being in the market. So मैंने वो एक दो चीजें आपसे सीखी है and very grateful for your kind affiliation with us.
Thank you, thank you. As you said earlier, even there was a lot of videos from our guy. What is that multibagger Vidya
Vijay
Kedia Kedia
Kedia.
Vijay Kedia? Even he had during that fall from September to April, he had made a loss of about 600 crores because he had it came in the news. So what he is also saying the same thing. Don't be aggressive, but if it falls, don't panic. Don't panic. Whatever comes down has to go up. So
Sir,
give
आपने
time
जो
because
कल
these are
start
volatile periods in the global
हाँ,
markets, all due to Donald Trump. If Donald Trump
correct, correct.
every second day is making some news, every third day is making some news, and it gives the jitters
So he is
mainly
an
to the
attention
Indian
seeker.
markets. So I think
He,
there is a time period for that. I think everything will settle down. After this, he has imposed these tariffs, 25% on most of the world, countries. I don't think there is anything more for him to give more tariffs on. I
so I
think
think
we are
the
passing that phase.
clarity, yeah, the clarity that was necessary for the markets is received. Now I
Yeah,
think we will look forward for the 7th August deadline, where
yeah,
if there is any positive announcement, markets will pick up. But if there is a negative announcement, I think the it is in the price, is what I feel. Maybe
yeah,
another 2-3%
correct, right, right.
more at a index level, but ठीक है सर, अभी पोर्टफोलियो ऊपर जाना है तो नीचे आना ही पड़ेगा. As you showed in your
Barabar,
chart,
barabar.
it has to go up and
Yeah,
come down. There has to be a pullback for the next impulsive move. So we have to always look forward in life and in markets also, that what is the next impulsive move that is possible. So
possible, correct.
उसके लिए एक पुल बैक होगा. अगर रिलेशनशिप है, वाइफ के साथ झगड़ा नहीं होगा, तो वो शादी लंबा भी नहीं चलने वाला है. एवरीथिंग इज नॉट
Barabar,
you
barabar.
are like you are much more experienced than I am, but
Yeah,
I think
correct,
you would share the same thought, like it has to come down
correct,
to go
correct,
up.
100%, 100%. You can take some next questions if anybody has. Yeah.
I think any more questions? Last 2 minutes. Taking a lecture after a long time, like where I am the lead. I prefer staying in the background, but I hope I was able to communicate my thoughts.
Yeah, yeah, it was good. It was good.
Thank you so much, sir.
Theoretically, it was very good. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess there are no more queries. So let's wind up. Thank you. We can break for lunch, and next weekend we will see you with the next lecture
Yeah.
on technicals. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
so
Thank
much.
you. It was
Thank you.
a good session. Hope
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
sure everyone enjoyed it,
Learning
and
from
we'll
you.
make it better in the next one.
100%, sir. 100%.
Thank you, Darshan, for your time and the
Thanks, Arshit. Yeah.
efforts. Yeah.
Thanks.
We'll meet
Thank
next
Okay.
you.
Bye
week.
bye.
100%. Yeah. Bye.
Have a nice weekend, everyone. Yeah.
You too, sir. Thanks.
Happy
Bye.
weekend, sir. Happy weekend. Now a lot of work
Happy
to do.
weekend.
So I'll start hitting on that. Bye bye.
Yeah.